All right. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to the GenAI in Fintech's, I think sixth virtual meetup event tonight. Before we kick off, I would like to start with the acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting here today. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and I also extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. My name is Kurt Young, the founder of this GenAI in FinTech meetup, and also your host for this evening. I'm a digital banking product manager at Sandstone Technology by day, uh, uh, which is a white-labeled digital banking SaaS solution provider that supports more than 30 banks globally. Personally, I'm super passionate about lean product management and also GenAI technologies application in FinTech. Hence why I created this meetup fairly recently. I also provide a bit of a ad hoc lean product management consulting services to startups and a bit of a product coaching to individuals. So if you guys like to know more, feel free to check out my website, kurtyoung.com. Apologies for the plugin. Just a few housekeeping rules before I introduce our guest speaker for this evening. Please feel free to raise your questions in the chat section. While which will be addressing them straight after our guest speaker's presentation and demo. And also, please mute yourself while either me or our guest speaker is presenting. But sometimes I think Charmaine might be engaging with you guys with some questions. So I think in those cases, do feel free to unmute or share do those engagements. And the session is currently being recorded, FYI, for future sharing and learning purposes. All right, without much further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our lovely guest speaker tonight, Charmaine Karangdan. I hope I pronounced your name right, Charmaine. Charmaine is a software engineer with over 15 years of experience in building and maintaining a wide variety of software, from greenfields to legacy, within companies from small startups to government to big tech across multiple industries, and he also including a big bank in Australia. She's currently a founding engineer at LoRaKit, which is a Gen AI-powered platform for customer support, specializing in helping high-growth, complex businesses like fintech. It also allows businesses to scale high CSAT, like customer satisfaction, customer experience, by empowering support agents to create AI agents that follows the workflow the rest of their teams can use to resolve complex issues. Yeah, so this all sounds really exciting. Charmaine, please feel free to take it away.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on a Tuesday, 7 p.m. meetup. My name's Charmaine, and let me just share my screen. Hey, everyone. So the thing is, I grew up in a family of nerds, huge nerds. My parents, they were so into computers. My dad, he actually got me into video games. And there was this one game I was super obsessed with. It's Star Wars, if anyone recognizes, space shooting game. Because one of my earliest memories was I was playing this game one afternoon. And my dad comes in, he says to me, "Hey, stop playing. It's time to go. We're going to go watch a movie." So I was a good little kid, right? I stopped playing. I exited the game. Back in those days, when you exit this game, you drop in here, dark screen, all text. If anyone remembers these good old days. So my dad says, "Okay, time to go. Don't forget, say bye to the computer." He said, "Say bye." And I thought, naive little me, I thought, of course I should say bye. It's only polite. So I typed into the dark screen, "Bye, we're going to go watch a movie." Then the computer had said to me, "Command not recognized." And I was so sad, actually. And so the reason why I'm telling you this story is because from this experience, I learned two things. Firstly, to not be so very optimistic about technology, I guess. Fact check what my parents say, because despite what my dad kind of implied, if I say bye to the computer, I don't know, what am I going to expect? For it to say bye back to me? The second thing I learned was that I wanted the computer to say bye back to me. I actually wanted to be able to interact with machines in the same easy way that I interact with people. Well, some people at least. So technically, this was my very first exposure to chatbots. Not really, but kind of. And decades later, I realized that there's so much more to chatbots than I thought as a little kid. And the thing is, with generative AI, right, it has unlocked so much potential with conversational bots. But even so, there's still this big, big question of trust. Because, so for the people here, has anyone experienced not great customer experience when talking to support of some company, any company? Even if it's a person or a bot or you can't tell, if you have had a not great experience, maybe, yeah, thumbs up, I do sad face, sad customer service. Yep, that's right. So when you had that not great experience, how did that affect how you saw the company? That's right. So because the thing is, customer support, whether it's people or bots, they are the face of your company. And it takes a big step to put trust in a machine to be the face of your company. It affects your reputation. And especially with the rise of Gen AI, because I don't know, but most of us maybe know how random Gen AI can be. With the rise of Gen AI, the thing is, things can go wrong. The bot, it can, let me click here. The bot can make stuff up. That's right. Gen AI can be random. It can make stuff up. And the thing is with this, Air Canada, when its bot made stuff up, it had to honor what the bot said because the bot is not responsible for its own actions. It is a machine. So given this, given that Gen AI can mess up like this, would you trust Gen AI to talk to your customers? And this is the topic for tonight. Tonight, I'd like to share with you a couple of stories of two different chatbots, one from before and one after the rise of Gen AI. I'd like to share with you to compare and contrast the challenges we faced. And at the end, I'm going to summarize the overarching principles that we used to get people to trust Gen AI to talk to their customers. So this is a tale of two chatbots. And the first bot I'd like to introduce you to is called Siba. Don't know if anyone here recognizes Siba with no eyes, but this chatbot is CBA's chatbot. It was built back in 2018, so way before the rise of Gen AI. And yes, this is me sneaking a selfie of the award that our team won for Siba. The second chatbot, yes, that's why it's familiar, CBA, you probably see it. And the yellow, it's classic CBA, yellow. The second chatbot I'd like to introduce you to is called Lorikeet. So Lorikeet is the product that I'm currently working on now as a founding engineer. It is an AI agent that helps customer support teams by using Gen AI to talk to their customers. We currently work with companies like Fintechs and health tech, and our bot is actually, it's live right now. It's actually talking to real customers of places like Step. It's a neobank in the US, an investment platform in Singapore, some health techs, and we're currently onboarding, I think, 4 or 5 other fintechs right now. So to compare and contrast these two, first, I'd like to start with something that we've learned from our customers. So from customer support agents. See, the thing is, these support agents, they are talking to customers all day, every day. answering questions, many, many, many questions. This actually makes them an expert in the customers that our bot wants to talk to. So what we learned from them is that there are 3 main areas to trusting the bot to talk to customers. First up, does the bot correctly identify the problem that the customer is raising? Then, does the bot say and also do the right thing to resolve that problem? Finally, does talking to the bot sound or feel like a natural conversation? 3 areas, and we want to trust that the bot is good at each of them. So let's start with problem identification. How SIBA did this was through a different kind of AI, still under the same umbrella where GenAI sits, but not GenAI. It's called Natural Language Understanding Model. The challenge that we faced with this is that for this to work, you need to give it a whole heap of data, which takes lots of time and effort to categorize for the model to work well. Here's a sample of what that looks like for an intent. An intent is like the topic that the problem that the customer is asking about. So for the intent, order coffee, you need to provide it with many, many examples of how customers ask the question that matches this intent. And if you see the highlighted bits in here, you also have to categorize each entity or thing in the message. So again, very tedious, lots and lots of data. When you have new examples, it takes time to retrain the model as well. So instead of that, with Lorikeet, we use GenAI to identify the problem. And it's a mix of 2 things. It's a 2-step process. Firstly, we use LLM to figure out what is the intent or topic behind the customer's message. And then we use the LLM again to go, okay, given this intent, what are the workflows that we've set up that might match that intent, that might be able to handle that question? And this is what it looks like in the app. Let me just set that up. Okay, lots of things on the screen, but firstly, this is the Lorikeet platform. This is where a support agent would come in and basically use our product to tell the bot what to do. Here, I'm showing you a list of workflows. So again, workflows are like the set of instructions that are meant to handle different intents. Up here, we see this is a workflow for handling the intent around what's my transaction status. So what we do in Lorikeet is you can actually come in here and give the LLM instructions, or more like tell the LLM what exactly this workflow does. And you can also give it examples of what type of messages the customers say that should match this. And on the flip side, what language customers use that should not match this. So yes, you give it examples, but even with just a few, instead of that tedious amount that you need to use to train the NLU model, this will help the LLM match that intent to a workflow. So we give the agents an easy, transparent way of teaching the LLM how to identify a problem and the workflow to match to it using GenAI. The challenge that we faced with this is that, again, GenAI, it hallucinates, it can be a bit random. So what we've done is, because we want to gain some confidence that it's at least as consistent as we can make it when it's matching workflows. So what we've built is a tool to evaluate matching workflows on a scale. So this one, using this tool, you can check how well the workflows are identified for different customer messages. So what you do is you would add some test cases. And test cases are meant to be exact customer messages that you expect to come in against the workflow that you want it to match to. After you set up all your test cases, you can run these tests multiple times per test case. So then what you get is confidence that, hey, 20 times out of 20, like this one here, we matched the workflow correctly. And up here, oh, look, whoops. 100% of the time it did not match correctly. It matched a different workflow instead, which is the thing you need to look out for. But if you look here, when it matched incorrectly, it was an FAQ workflow, which is basically the typical, hey, bot, go to the help center and figure out how to answer the customer. It's not great. It's not personalized, but it's not so bad, if you know what I mean. Cool. So that was problem identification. And what we've done to make the best use of GenAI was to provide a way for agents to easily adjust the instructions for matching the customer problem. We also provide an ability to run tests so you can build confidence in the consistency of it being correct. Okay, so the second area we want to trust the bot to be good at is problem resolution. How it worked with Siba was that we used a chat provider that provided an interface for our content team, or what did we call them? Conversation designers, for them to be able to control the exact text to respond to customers when it matches a problem. It looked kind of like this, kind of complex. But the thing with this, you can see all the arrows. It's actually using good old-fashioned computer logic, like if this, then go there, otherwise go over here. Simple computer logic. And at the bottom right here, you'll notice humans can also control the exact text with some data to tell a customer once we've matched this problem. So it's kind of a balance between humans and normal computer logic. With Lorikeet, we also kind of strike a balance, but it's not just with two things, but multiple. So I'll show you how. For example, to handle the kind of question like, where's my debit card? It's been over a month. Support agents use our platform to tell the bot what to do. For example, first up, if the customer sounds very, very, very annoyed, hey, just let us handle that. Otherwise, can you ask the customer if we actually shipped it to the right address? And if not, just grab their new address. Then, if the customer is a premium customer, we send a fancy card and expedite it. So in this, Lorikeet is a balance not just of the two things that Siba was using, but three, because now we have GenAI. And the thing with this is GenAI, we stick it in a little box. We let it focus on just the bits that it's actually good at. The conversational bits, like what's your new address? And does the customer seem annoyed? For simple data checks, like what's the customer's tier, the thing is we want to be sure that we're not accidentally sending a fancy card to a non-premium customer. So we don't want to trust GenAI to maybe randomly mess that up. And the thing is, we don't have to. We still have if, else, then in this world alongside GenAI. Lastly, humans. Humans handle the trickier edge cases, and they configure all these instructions. So yeah, we had to figure out the right balance across these three things. But most importantly, because our customers have different needs, what we needed to do was build a way to make it easy for them to adjust this balance themselves. Because, for example, what you would typically see in current Gen AI workflow builders and AI agent builders is something like this. Here's a box, stick in your prompt, pick which model to use. Yes, so this is great for flexibility and for trying out how different models work, but So has anyone here written a prompt, whether for personal use or for thumbs up if you've written a prompt before or have tried or have seen others write a prompt? The thing with writing prompts is that you have to write it in a certain way for it to work well. You also have to iterate and run a few tests to make sure that it is working well. And the thing is, our customers, they are customer support agents. They are experts in their domain, in their product, their service, but they are not necessarily experts in writing prompts. So what we've done for our product is we've made this easier for them. I'll show you an example of one of these workflows. So if we go back to transaction status, again, these are the instructions, kind of like you'd give to a new support agent. When someone asks about transactions, do this and this and this. So support agents come in here, and if you notice, say this step here, confirm which transaction they're referring to. You notice that we do not call this an execute LLM prompt step, even though technically that is what it's doing. Instead, we've named it and we've built it in a way that it is more related to what the user's perspective of the thing is. In this case, it's called gather because in this step, we want to gather information from the customer. We do not want to execute LLM prompt, although we kind of do. So if you notice here, what the customer support agent would set up is literally just, what information do I want to gather from my customer? In this one, it's, hey, which transaction are they talking about? And in here, they can add in a few more instructions, but that's more to give context to the LLM who doesn't necessarily know what transactions might mean in the context of your product. And how this works behind the scenes is that we actually have system kind of built-in prompts surrounding these instructions. And we handle the things like, hey, you are a customer support expert, you are gathering information. We handle all the bits around what to do when they can't gather the information. So all that is background. And the customer support agent can focus on the key task of what information am I gathering from my customer. The other thing we do to make this easy is when confirming which transaction, how do you know what the transactions are, right? To make it more personalized, you can actually provide a tool to get external data, to get literally the transactions of the customers. So the LLM has context about what transaction they might be talking about. And this is configured in the product itself. So you can hook up Lorikeet to your company's system. So in here, in tools, you can find get recent transactions. If you notice right now, it's a mock tool because this is our demo account. You can put in whatever the API would spit out, and you can connect this to your company's APIs. It's also possible to test these in the app itself. Yeah, so you can actually run and test the API within the tool, within the product itself. The final example I have of making it easy for support agents to adjust the balance between Gen AI, humans, that kind of thing, is in the final response to the customer. So in here, after we figure out what transaction they're talking about, we give a response. And right now, this is AI generated. We give it some info and we say, hey, respond with this. Let the AI handle that. If you notice, all we're saying is how to respond. There's nothing around, by the way, transaction means this. By the way, we are a company that does blah, blah, blah. There's nothing in here about, also, can you please talk in a formal tone? Because that's how our brand, our company responds to customers. But all that information is available to the AI, and your bot will respond based on your brand guidelines. But the thing is, it is set up in a different place. So with Lorikeet, there's one spot where you can set up all that. So for anyone who's written prompts before, you might know that giving the LLM context around what the thing is actually helps with the responses. So what we do is you can provide context about your business, about how you want bots to talk to customers. And you do that once. Because what that means is when you're back here dealing with transaction status, you don't have to worry about all that. It's all handled already. You can focus on give transaction details response. Lastly, we actually work with some customer support teams who deal with sensitive questions. Questions whose answers need to be a specific, exact verbatim response, or else legal team will not sign off on it. So they do not trust AI at all for some of the questions. And what you could actually do with Lorikeet, again, we give the opportunity to adjust this balance. In the reply, for specific questions and even for specific paths, you can say, hey, for this one, I don't trust the AI, just verbatim send this response to the customer. Cool. So that's how we deal with problem resolution with GenAI in Lorikeet. Firstly, we figure out the right balance between GenAI doing what it's good at versus humans versus just good old-fashioned computer logic. Importantly, we want to let users to easily adjust that balance themselves. Cool. So the last area we want to trust that the bot is good at is conversation quality. Yeah, with Siba, it was not great because no Gen AI, what can you do? Not much. But we did have some tricks. And some of those tricks were like this. Our conversation design team, they crafted the responses, even though it was exact responses, they crafted it so it sounds more natural. We also did things like, if it's a long message, break it up into multiple messages so it feels more like an informal chat. We also gave the chatbot typing dots to say when the bot is typing. And if the next message that the bot was going to say is a long message, we actually made the typing dots take longer. So yes, we had some cute little tricks. And I mean, they helped. I mean, our team won an award for SIBA. But it's not really enough because once SIBA identifies the intent, say, what's my balance, it is stuck in that exact dialogue flow. And because it could not handle natural language, when SIBA needed to ask follow-up questions, like, hey, which account, it resorted to this, buttons. I'm sure some of you have seen this before, chatbots, where it gives you buttons as options instead of letting you just talk to it. Again, not very natural conversation-wise. There are some advantages to this. When the options are limited, like here, which account are you talking about? You only have 3 accounts, so I'm just going to give you 3 buttons, and that's fine. But this doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes we don't know what options to give the customer to let them fully express the question they're asking. I've actually seen some companies use this intentionally. So what they do, there's a specific meal delivery service. What they do is when you're chatting, it never gives you the option to file a complaint in their chat. So it just does not give you the option. And what that does is it just makes it more frustrating. So not natural. There are pros, there are cons. With Lorikeet, now we have Gen AI. It's actually much better. It feels more natural. So natural, in fact, that here's examples of chats with real customers. Our bot is on the right. So on the left, on the bottom, you see customers wish the bot to have a great day. Other times, when our bot says, have a great day, our customers actually reply with "you too." And also, even when they know it's a bot, I mean, down there, you see the customer calling it Step AI, it's Step's bot. They say thank you anyway. So the conversation just flows so naturally that people talk like this. Even so, again, the challenge with Gen AI is it can be a bit random. What we need to do is iterate and keep improving upon how the bot responds. What we've done in Lorikeet is we built a tool to make this easy to do. So back here in the platform, we have a place where you can literally just talk to the bot and see how it responds based on the workflows that you have set up. Just pick a customer. So the first thing it does, you see the typing bots, it's thinking. As I mentioned earlier, first we have to identify the problem. Right now, the bot is going, hey, what's the intent in this message? Once it finds the intent, hey, based on the 3 workflows I have, do any of those match this intent? Then it does stuff. Let me zoom in. So you notice here it says internal. The thing with the conversation tester, it doesn't just show you how the bot would respond to a customer. It also gives you observability into what it's trying to do. So when I asked, where's my paycheck? You notice it matched the workflow transaction status, did some stuff, and now it called a tool to get some of my recent transactions. And the tool has come back with a couple of things. And based on those 2 things, the LLM was able to guess, hey, this one, that sounds like a paycheck. Maybe it's that. Is that what you're talking about? And you notice here, it also says, we've paused the workflow because now we're waiting for me to reply. Yes, so the thing is, we want to be able to assess the conversation quality, but also be transparent about what the bot is trying to do. So we can figure out if it's hallucinating, why is that? Did we give it the wrong data? Or is it just being a random AI? And here you see the response, which we have configured in the workflow. Right, so what we did for conversation quality with Gen AI in Lorikeet, we provided a way to test conversations within the app itself before going live. And we provide a lot of transparency and observability as to what the bot is even trying to do. At the end of the day, though, really the best way to learn about how the bot is doing and building confidence is to go live and see how it deals with real customers. So this is a quote from one of our customers who, I think a couple of weeks ago, they reached their 5,000th automated ticket with Lorikeet. And they said that you learn the most about how to prompt the bot by observing real customer interactions. So go live and just do it. But that can be scary. Even when we've covered all the bases that I've discussed earlier to build that trust and confidence, that first go live of letting a bot talk to your customers still can be scary. So here are some things that we've done to help customers over that first hurdle. Firstly, we work with our customers to identify the right candidate to go live with first. We start with just one, say transaction status. Then we make it easy for them to say, I don't want the bot to respond to 100% of the customers. Let's start with half. And that number is based on, we want to get enough volume of tickets that Lorikeet is responding to so we can learn, but we don't want to be overwhelmed because in the first go live, we actually, ourselves and our customers, monitor each ticket and see how the bot is doing so we iterate. Also, importantly, what we do to help give that sense of safety Okay, so here, for example, we are connected with Intercom. Intercom is a customer support platform that is basically handling the tickets, and Lorikeet sits as kind of an agent on Intercom answering questions. And if you notice here, it is read-only, which means our bot for this subscriber is not talking to customers. So what we've given customers is a kill switch. Super easy. Press this button, Lorikeet's talking to people. Press it again, it stops. So it gives people a sense of safety, to give them the confidence to go live. Cool. So to summarize, how we've built trust in GenAI to talk to banking and fintech customers. Find the right balance between GenAI, humans, and logic, just good old-fashioned computer logic. Make it easy for your users to adjust that balance themselves. And provide different ways to test, observe, and iterate. And finally, just do it. Start small, go live, and iterate, because the best way to build confidence is to see how the bot actually responds to real customers. And that was it for the talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want more information, here's the link to our company's website, Lorikeet CX, as in customer experience, .ai. And if you want to chat AI or product design engineering, please feel free to use this QR code. Add me on LinkedIn. Let's connect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Charmaine. That was really inspiring because I've been following quite a few different AI agent solutions out there, right? People talk about the actual technical capabilities of those AI agents, where you guys really come in from a differentiation perspective. It just really focus on how you make it easier for the banking customers to actually onboard it. That's like a fresh air. Like I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So yeah, just want to see if we got any questions. I think Justin, Caroline, or anybody on the call, feel free to unmute yourself, ask some questions, or pop it in the chat. Just because we still have plenty time. Let's make it a conversational. So feel free to drop in any questions. Otherwise, I have some questions as well. So, Carolina, it's good. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, hello.
Long time. Yeah, just for you to know, I mean, Carolina, she also works in fintech. She works in Constantinople. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard of them before. They're pretty big right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your presentation. It was so good.
Thank you.
And I think my question is just because I am curious about, because you mentioned Intercom. And in Constantinople now we are just implementing Intercom, so I'm so curious to see like how your platform mix with Intercom and how we can use it.
Yeah, sure. So Intercom, as you know, it's a customer support platform where support agents get to talk to customers. There are tickets you answer. What Lorikeet does is it kind of sits listening to Intercom, and it's like another agent on your team that can answer questions. So for example, a ticket comes in, and then we look at it and we identify, oh, it's this intent, and oh, we have a workflow for it. Then we'll pick it up off of Intercom's queue and literally respond. So support agents can actually see in Intercom the bot, Lorikeet, responding as if it was some other agent on their team. If that answers your question.
Yeah, okay, nice. So it's like I know that in Intercom we can implement like apps inside the app store. Is your platform like this? We should like
so great question. Our product is not an app. It's more, it's from, how do I say? We actually connect to Intercom in a different way than apps. What we do is we literally listen to events from Intercom. So companies would give us access to integrate with their Intercom. And then there's literally an API that we use to just get tickets from Intercom that way.
Okay, nice. And so that would apply just for the tickets feature in Intercom, or for like conversational chats as well within the customers?
Oh, conversational Oh yeah, I forgot that. I think intercom differentiates between
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually use the conversation piece. I mean,
Oh,
we use both, but currently we're focused on the conversation thing in intercom.
okay, nice. I'll have a look in your website as
Yes,
well.
please have a look. Thank you.
Awesome. I think Jean Feng also got a question in the chat. What large language model or services do you use
Ah,
for your
great question.
your product?
So we were using OpenAI. We are in the middle of maybe moving to Claude Sonnet. We're still thinking. I think we are moving towards Claude Sonnet. So for some background, we were using, I mean, disclaimer, I'm not an expert at LLM. One of our technical co-founders, I call him an expert. So Jamie Hall, he used to work at Google on Bard, which was Google's super secret LLM before ChatGPT came and Google just gave up. So he has all the background on that. And how we picked LLMs, I think it was more network connections. So our other co-founder, he knows some people at OpenAI, so we started there. But my understanding is that our take is that OpenAI kind of starts with ChatGPT because that's the big product that they have. So it's quite ChatGPT focused, and then they go to APIs. So for example, there was some functionality, I forgot which one, where we had to wait. It was in ChatGPT, but we couldn't use it yet until they built that. Whereas my understanding is Anthropic is a bit more, it's more in sync. But yeah, sorry, that was a long answer, but we're moving towards Claude.
Nice.
Anthropic stuff.
Cool. I can see Kelly just be on camera. Did you have a question, Kelly, for Charmaine?
Yeah, great presentation, and I really love it. I have some questions regarding, because today's topic is more about trust, and through your presentation, I can really see that builds trust for the worker in banking staff. They can collaborate with the conversational agent, and to really facilitate the interaction with our customer. And my question was more on the user's end. So I was curious about after we launching this conversational agent, how do our customers feel about the trustworthiness of using it? If you could give some.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what we've noticed is that because our bot, Lorikeet, uses personalized data, so it, you know how it grabs data from the systems, it knows when they say, "Where's my money?" we know kind of what it's talking about. It seems that because of that, they trust it more. It's like, oh, it knows me. It's fine. If that makes sense. If that's what you mean by trust, or
Yeah, so I have one experience with
yeah.
using Siba, because on Commonwealth you can easily connect and chat with Siba. So can I defaultly consider that app knows everything about my app, and when I communicate with it, it can also direct my information to the corresponding staff? I mean, that might be one of the concern at the beginning when I'm interacting with Siba.
That's a great point. Do you mean that you're uncomfortable with it knowing everything, or you want
I
it to?
guess, yeah, I guess the because I trust this company, I trust
Yeah.
Commonwealth.
Yep.
So the app I'm using Siba, I can trust it with the data.
Yep.
However, I do have a little bit concern about whether it is functional enough to know what I'm talking about, to know my context. So the money I saved and what I expand on the track.
Yeah.
I guess that's the main issue I have.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because, for example, with Step Bank, the chatbot is integrated in the app itself. So kind of like you mentioned, if you trust the bank, you kind of trust the bot.
Yeah.
In terms of trusting that it understands the context in your question. So that is that I believe is one of the differentiators of Lorikeet, is because we do different things to, for example, to understand exactly what the customer is talking about before even trying to answer. So, as an example, a lot of typical AI bots out there right now, what they do is they just go, hey, LLM, here's all our help center articles, and then figure it out. I don't know if you've seen these bots where you ask a question and it just gives you like this essay.
Yeah.
Did I help? No, you didn't, kind of thing. So what we tried to do is we really leaned into, so for example, Step, a lot of their customers are quite vague when they ask questions. Literally, where is my money?
Yeah.
What does that mean? So what we're building into Lorikeet is a way to disambiguate. So with Step, when someone says, where's my money? They know, like customer support team know, usually it's either transaction or they're waiting for their paycheck, or as in they have a list of specific topics that are linked to that vague question. So what Lorikeet can do is you can teach it to go, if they ask, where's my money? It's usually this, this, or this. Check with the customer. So I think the main thing that we try to do is, instead of just trying to give an answer, we go back and forth with the customer to make sure we have enough context before even trying to answer. And then also, if we think, like we have a go and then we try to answer, and we have another LLM actually that reviews that and goes, did we answer the question? Yeah, it's not great. And then we escalate to a real person. So we actually lean towards, if we don't think we can give a good answer, we just give it to a real person. They can deal with it better.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. That's a really nice partnership. Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, Justin, do you have a question for Charmaine as well? I can see you've been.
No, Charmaine.
Yes.
I just love great presentation. Love your considerations, but I thought it's only fair that we all show our face to saying hello rather than all sitting there with our faces off.
Agreed.
Emojis are fine too. So, but
actually,
wonderful presentation. I really liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it was awesome. I actually do have a question here. I don't know if I told you, Charmaine, I started my career in Combank in their customer service, like over the phone, right? So one thing, just from my personal customer service experience, what I realized is that if a normal customer comes in over the phone or in person, you can go with your normal workflow, everything, the stuff we mentioned earlier, it's no problem. But if you do get a irate customer, like an angry, whatever customer, right? So your workflow is actually very different, because as a customer service person, I was trained, when you get an irate customer, your first reaction is actually not try to resolve the problem, trying to find out what's the problem. You're actually trying to calm the customer down, right? Exactly. There's a whole other workflow. I guess you can say like it's a workflow as well. So I guess my question to you is, does Lorikeet cater that side of the, that?
So actually, I can show you, do I have an example? But if you remember the workflow builder I showed earlier, the step called gather, get information. One of the other step types we have is analyze. And you can say, figure out if the customer is angry. And then from there, you can have an if else. If they're angry, do this other workflow completely. If not, just carry on. So yeah, so what we try to do is make it modular, so you can control that yourself and do whatever you want. One of our customers, what they do is literally just, if they're angry, just escalate. Don't even bother.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think that's actually one of the biggest pain points as customer service people dealing with irate customers. So
and with customers as well, right? If you're annoyed and you just want to talk to a real person, it's so hard sometimes.
Charmaine.
Yes.
Justin again. And I know you had the 3 steps, but I've been thinking about this as you're speaking. Is there a sort of almost a 4th step here about how do you gain feedback from the experience? Has it been trusted, and validate that trusted experience?
That's a great point, because that's actually what my sub team is working on right now, is how do you iterate that way? Because how we've currently, because we're super new, when I joined in January, we had 0 customers. So a lot of our customers are quite early stages, and what we're doing is we are reviewing it, and our customers, like support agents, are reviewing it and QAing it themselves to figure out is it good or not. But that's a great point about from the actual end customer's perspective, is it good or not? And one thing that we've done so far is that, for example, Intercom and other products already have a way to gather CSAT, as I forgot what it's,
customer satisfaction score. Yeah,
customer satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yes. So they already have ways to do that. So what we're actually in the middle of, maybe next week, pulling in that CSAT score. And then in the product, we have an area where you can look at your business impact of the impact of the tickets, like how's their automation rate going? And in there, we want to surface how's CSAT for the stuff Laura Keat answered versus the baseline of what normal people are handling.
Yeah.
That's one way we want to do it, but we're still thinking about that. So that's a great point.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. Just love the contextual understanding. You're not just going, here's an LLM. Actually what's the action needed? What's the context of the customer to build the trust? Well, actually, no, it's just an if when, or if else, or it's an LLM. I kind of like what you're doing. That's good. It's a really good kind of human in the loop almost approach to
it. And you can configure how much in the loop you want humans to be.
Exactly.
That flexibility is amazing. Also, I actually had to have a follow-up question on the Intercom one, because you mentioned earlier about your integration through API with Intercom. Other than Intercom, do you guys currently also hooking up or integrate with other, chat
so Intercom
software?
Currently do Zendesk, Intercom, HubSpot, Front. And the thing is, because we're a small startup, if we get a big customer and they use some other thing, we're just going to build it. So
makes sense.
But we usually do the big players, like I've mentioned. I also see a question in chat. For
yeah, that's right. I think from Luis, right? Yeah, is that the one you were referring to? Yeah, I think Luis.
We have a couple. Yes, sorry, I missed Luis. Sorry. Estimate of this feature. So how long did it take? Oh, do you mean the whole product? So our first check-in to our repository of code was November last year. And what is now? So a bit less than a year, if that is the question. So the thing is, so we started November last year. And by the time I joined in January, by around February, our first customer was, because we did it really iteratively. First, we started with build workflows without this tool. We just literally do it in our database. And then we run the bot and we spit out a spreadsheet of per customer message, what would the bot have responded? Then we send that to the customer and they can review. So that happened between November and February. And then we went live talking to real customers around April. Middle of April is when we went live with both Eucalyptus and Step, as in talking to real customers.
Fantastic.
So that was the other question.
Yeah, Jenfeng also got a question. I missed the part of the intent classification. Is this done by the LLM or specifically build small models?
Great question. So with intent classification, currently we use LLM. Just LLM with instructions and quite specific instructions per workflow. So for each workflow, you give it, hey, this is what the workflow is for, and here's some examples of messages that you would match. And the reason, okay, again, disclaimer, I'm not an expert on this, but our technical co-founder believes that LLM is pretty good at doing this. So it's fine. And also we have other layers to cover. If things are vague, then we use different handling for that, like the disambiguation. So what we try to do is we try to make LLM not have to handle a giant complex task. We break it up. So, hey, handle the matching of, first handle the intent, figure out the intent, then handle the workflow matching, then you can disambiguate. Hope that helps.
I also have like another question. I think this is actually really on the back of you were talking about how you guys was integrating LoRaKit within your clients, their operations team and everything. From your experience working with the team, how do you see your clients, their ops team, how they view LoRaKit as a kind of like an AI agent, being part of their overall team's workflow? Like, do you see their human agent have something against it? That kind of from a change
Great
management.
question. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite questions, because I didn't have it as a screenshot in this presentation, but with our first customer, the first task that the support agents had was they had to QA the bot's responses. So it's like QAing a new person coming into the role, right? Thanks, Justin. See ya. And now, well, when did it start? Like 2 months ago? Because we have Slack channels with each of our customers. And about 2 months ago, one of those support agents from our customer actually messaged us saying, hey, I have some ideas for how the bot can do more. Literally. They're excited. I've noticed that they're in there reviewing what the bot's doing. They are making changes and tweaks. And there was this one time, there was this feature in the workflow editing that we hadn't even released yet. It was in there, but we never told anyone. But that person, that support agent, was talking to us about it because they had ideas about how to use it for the bot. So yeah.
That's a very good sign. Like when you see the customer starting to having ideas of how to better utilize your product, that's
Yeah.
really good sign.
And we get that a
Awesome.
lot as well. So it's been fun.
Amazing. If there's no more question, I think I do have like one last question, which is something it might link to something quite interesting. Just when you were when you guys was going to market, what were some of the key challenges when you were trying to approach those financial institutions with your solution?
It's a great question, because that's what so the problem that we're facing is that we are a small company. We are, I don't know, 12 people. We're super small and unknown. So the biggest challenge we face is actually getting in front of people, because there are big players out there. There are the incumbents, like Intercom has their own AI thing. And there are other startups, especially in the US, and they have so much funding, way more funding than us. So their voices are very loud. And we're this tiny little startup. So the thing is, though, when we do get in front of people, usually through connections and warm introductions, people get really excited and they actually enjoy using the product. So what we want to do is get in front of people. So actually what we've done recently to try and solve that is LoRaKit is actually a name change from about a month ago. We rebranded completely to LoRaKit from something called OpTech. So we were OpTech, now we are LoRaKit. And our founder's theory is that because the market is so saturated with so much AI and so many AI bots, we want to stand out. We want something loud and bold and colorful, and LoRaKits are loud, and they are bold, and they are colorful, and they are also coincidentally the favorite bird of both of our co-founders. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome story. Cool. Now we know. That's great, mate. Yeah. All right. I think that's all the questions I can see in the chat, and also from my side as well. Just want to double check if anyone have any more questions. Last check. Otherwise,
if you do, though, if you think of any, find me on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Happy to chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Charmaine. That was rather very insightful and then very inspiring. I think it's really good to see your solution. I wasn't expecting that. I'm just because for you guys to know, I didn't see her slides everything beforehand. I was thinking maybe there was just like another AI agent solution with a slightly different sort of a take on it. But that was actually very refreshing angle how you guys went about your solution comparing to what's in the market, and also just in terms of getting in front of people, right? I think tonight, as you saw earlier, Caroline's from Constantinople, I'm from Sandstone, so both of us, we all work in pretty big fintech companies, and we all have exposures to a lot of banking institutions. So potentially, who knows, that could open some more doors for you guys down the track as well. So,
great.
great opportunity. Cool. Alrighty. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday night. And the next one is in 2 weeks' time. I'll be sharing the details on LinkedIn very shortly. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.